Radio Network.
Nick Saban does not play anybody less than he doesn't put anybody less on the field than his very best players.
Bama does what Bama do. Sorry, I heard a noise. My bad. Somebody just left it on my step.
That Colorado defense is definitely underrated, but they ended up pulling it out late. They have one of the players to watch for, Isaiah Spiller.
Oh, it's better. It's better now. Trust me. Like back in the day, there was at least one murder. So I mean, it's better now.
You realize that you're not doing anything to press your case by getting me to go down there. No, man, come on down there. It was only one murder. Yeah, they're only averaging one murder a year.
And shout out to Florida. They're playing them this Saturday. Number 11 ranked Florida playing number 1 Alabama. So I think that's going to be a high scoring game. And
wow. Well played, Colin. Well played. I did not see that one coming. you get a double finger point, one for me and one for Sean. You know, you get.
Here we go. Get your popcorn ready.
What's the big thing?
Good evening to one, to all. Today is Monday, November, I almost said October, November the 22nd, 2021, and welcome to this week's Monday edition of This Week in SEC Football. I am one half of the dynamic dude. Sean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thing, man. I'm sorry, man. But I am one half of the cast. Mr. Fingers coming to you from Zagna Central. That handsome fella over there. I got a chance to talk to your parents. We're going to talk about that in a second. My brother from... How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Just hanging out on a Monday night. Just hanging out with the folks. You know how it is. They drove up. You said we'll talk about that a little bit earlier, or a little bit later. But, yeah, they're up here visiting from a small town I'm from.
Yeah. And I had an opportunity to talk to them. It was quite amusing. It was very amusing to talk to them. Colin's mom is a genteel Southern woman. She came and she said, I'm not going to be on the TV. I said, no, ma'am, we're not live right now. She comes in and she sits down, catches a glimpse of her hair, and no lie, y'all, like any self-respecting Southern, had to get the do straight.
Yeah.
Pops, on the other hand, he just came and sat down and said, hi, how are you?
Oh yeah,
but we had a good time chopping it up with your folks, man. Good time chopping it up with your folks, and we would like to thank you for joining us this week in SEC football, as always, sponsored by the good folks at DJG Enterprises. They got all the custom gear you need. You want tumblers, they got it. You want Afghans, they got it. They can do it up in your favorite team's colors and do whatever you want for you there. But make sure you holler at them. They will take care of you. We also have other sponsors. We actually want to welcome a new sponsor. We still don't have the information yet, but we'll have that. So we now have a show sponsor and 2 segment sponsors.
Go ahead.
So how about that? How about them?
That's good stuff.
So we'll be introducing our new segments, our second segment sponsor here coming up, hopefully with the Thursday show. Man, crazy doggone week, bro. Crazy doggone week. I mean, where do you want to start is the question. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and start with the obvious. The Dogs took care of business against the Dogs took care. Oh, Lord. Sorry. Happens when I had to work the 9 to 5 and I had to actually go into the office and I come back home. Oh, my God. Charleston Southern. That's who we beat, was Charleston Southern. And you're gonna have to bring me up to speed on the score, bro, because I did not even write that down.
Hey,
I'm a bad Georgia fan this week. I didn't even write the score down. I took the game.
It was fun. It was fun to watch. I mean, like I said, we've had so for goodness sakes, we had JT play. So I think that appeased a lot of people out there that saw him play. So thank goodness for that. And then the best part about the whole game was Big Baby scoring that touchdown. You know, him being on offense and him getting that 6 points. But you know, it was already a W in the books. But I mean, it was fun to watch him play around.
Yeah, they got out there. They're doing trick plays like the Harlem Globetrotters and stuff like that. We did give up a touchdown
We
to
did. You see,
Charleston Southern.
let me go back and show you how that touchdown was scored. I don't know if you saw that, but it was
I did see that part. See,
Did
now
you?
for those of you wondering how in the world did you, one of the biggest Georgia fans that we know in our social circle, Anthony, how did you not catch the game? Well, the game was on SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. And for the life of me, I could not figure out how to log on with my login information. It's supposed to be free if you got a subscription to SEC Network. I couldn't figure it out. I went through 800 links that was supposed to be on YouTube for the live game stream. Colin, my homie,
Yeah.
my homie, my number one, my ace, sent me a link for the YouTube, and it was a pain in the butt trying to watch on a small screen. So I got my phone over here on my leg. I got the other games. I got the Oklahoma game on the big screen TV. I'm trying to flip between that game and another game that was on, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Last week beat the hell out of me. I dozed through a lot of those games.
Yeah.
I did get a chance to go through and look at some stat lines and things like that. But I basically what happened is every time I heard the band fire up glory, I was like, oh, we scored again. Go Dogs. And then I stay awake long enough for the kickoff and go, oh, Dogs, sick of.
Oh, yeah.
And I just zap right back out. But score was 56-7.
Yeah, that's what it was. 56-7. Yep.
56-7. Georgia is victorious over Charleston Southern. We already know we had the East locked up when we beat Kentucky a few weeks back, and Alabama. Several weeks who we were going to play. A four-way run for the West, and we finally got our opponent. Alabama. We're going to be playing Alabama. They beat Arkansas, but man, that was a little bit of a struggle plate for Alabama there, bro. You know,
it was a little dicey there. I can't believe they hung 35 on them, to be honest with you. I did not see that coming.
One of the biggest things about that I saw that was the icing on that was it just Arkansas just seemed to be able to score at will. Every time Alabama scored and they celebrated and roll tide and rammer jammer yellow hammer and all of that stuff. Every time they got an opportunity to score, Arkansas would just come back. It was a 1-for-1 the entire game.
Yep,
I think the deciding factor, I think they forced out Arkansas into a 3-and-out late in the game to cinch the win. But that's basically what it came down
to. Bama does what Bama do.
And so, you know, speaking of, we got those nice, gorgeous Bama does what Bama do t-shirts. Speaking of, congratulations to our winners from last week. I know a lot that we were giving away 2 t-shirts, and all you had to do was send your picks to zagnifproductions@outlook.com, and the closest person to the score without going over would win a t-shirt. And we were doing 2 of them, and a lot of people posted in the comments, and nobody followed instructions. And we got 2 people to follow the instructions. They both were ridiculously close to what the score was, or at least Bama score, because they both had Bama at least 40 something. One guy, I think it was 40-17. The other guy was like 42 to something or whatever. But so congratulations to Ashley AJ Johnson and Buster Spencer. You are this week's t-shirt winners. We'll be having shirt giveaway this week. What I need is the score, the person that closest comes to the score in the Bedlam game. I'm picking this one specifically because your boy is right here in Oklahoma. The Bedlam game, Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. This one is for all the marbles. This will determine who is going to go to the Big 12 championship and who is going to sit and watch from the rafters. Oklahoma needs to win. That's all they got to do is win, and they're in the championship game. If they lose, they have Baylor has the tiebreaker. Baylor will represent, and they will play against Oklahoma State. So basically, that's about it. And even if Oklahoma wins, they still had to play Oklahoma State again the following week for the conference championship. So either way, Oklahoma State's going to the championship, but Oklahoma has to win, and they really need to win big because they need the style points to get up in the rankings because right now they are sitting at Oklahoma is sitting at 13. Will come out tomorrow. So these rankings right now, all we have that are still in effect. Oklahoma is still sitting at 13. They really got to come up with a big win, and hopefully they didn't fall by, because we go ahead and talk about them since I brought them up. They played Iowa State. I told you Iowa State is a team that will give as good as they get. Right. They didn't go score for score, but it was decided again by another close win. Oklahoma, they really locked up Oklahoma pretty good. Caleb Williams only threw for 87 yards, bro, if that tells you anything. 8 of 18 for 87 yards, 1 touchdown, one for 9 yards. 117 yards. Oh, my God, that's not a big day. That is not – Ice Cube would say today was not a good day for that one. 17 carries, 115 yards. Caleb Williams, shining moment, 60s. He rattled off another 30-some-odd yard touchdown. He had 67 yards and a touchdown. Eric Gray had another touchdown. So basically how Oklahoma won this was they scored 1 touchdown in the first quarter, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the fourth. And that was the deciding factor because they held Iowa State scoreless in the second and third quarter, and then Iowa State scored 2 in the fourth and really gave them a run for their money. I think they shut them down with a 4-and-out is basically how they wound up closing the game out. So Oklahoma really needs a big win Oklahoma State because right now Oklahoma State is ranked number 9 in the Oklahoma State's ranked number 9. They had a nice win this weekend also. I mean, they're disciplined. They're disciplined. They're not making a lot of dumb mistakes. A lot of the mistakes I've seen them making in seasons past. So they're really getting stuff done. So they really need to win big against Oklahoma State to get close enough to be considered for a CFP berth should they win the conference championship. That's what it boils down to. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. The way that Oklahoma's playing this year, and please don't call me an Oklahoma hater because I got a lot of respect for the program. You don't just rattle off conference championships without building something. You've done some things. You've had 2 Heisman Trophy. I say it every week. 2 Heisman Trophy winners, Heisman finalists, 6 conference championships. Oh, sure. You net can't talk today. I'm gonna have to start pretending I'm a turntable. Championships, 6 conference championships and a trip to the playoffs. That's a quality program. But this year, their struggle has been offense, and their bigger struggle has been defense. If the defense has stepped up and shut Iowa State down, that would have been a larger margin of victory, even though the offense wasn't able to produce. Those are so they really need to go in and take it to Oklahoma State hard. I don't know that they'll be able to do it 2 weeks in a row. That's just me. But that's where we are right now. So Oklahoma comes up with that big win. But anyway, we were talking about Bama, and Bama's had some struggles, man. Their defense has not been as dominant. Their offense has been exceptionally productive, but sometimes I get the feeling that the offense is playing down to the level of their competition, if that makes sense.
It's funny you should say that because I was actually thinking the same thing that, since the offense in the past has been so high caliber, your defense kind of tends to follow suit. But, I agree with what you just said there. I believe that's what they're doing. Like, I mean, if your offense is subpar, not saying they're awful or anything, but I mean, they're not as great as they have been. I think the defense is kind of right there with them.
Now, something to consider is the fact that in the last 4 years, Alabama has won 2 national championships.
Sure.
Most of those guys are gone. This is a young squad. Like, there's not a ton of senior leadership on the squad this year. It's a young squad, and a lot of them are coming back next year. So now, if you want to see the Bama that you're accustomed to, I'm just gonna call it next year. Bama's coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you're probably gonna lose. You may lose. Is Michi a sophomore or junior? You may lose him to the draft. You'll probably lose Brian Robinson to the draft because he's a senior, unless he comes back, unless he's got a grad year of eligibility. Although I think he's going this year while his stock is pretty high.
Right.
Somebody somewhere can use him in their backfield because he is definitely he's not a Taysom Hill, but he's definitely a multi-purpose guy. He can run under a good blocking scheme and he can catch out of the backfield. So that's what I see going on there. But anyway, the stage is set December 4th in Hotland. Dogs, or the Dogs as we like to call them, from Athens of the University of Georgia, will take on the Alabama Crimson Tide for all the marbles. It is the immovable object against the irresistible force. I think it is going to be a game to see, especially with the issues that I talked about with Alabama having. It will be interesting to see Georgia. I just want to see what Kirby's going to bring out of I want to see what Kirby's going to bring out of the pocket for these guys. That's all I got.
So, I mean, you got to think about it. After hearing that fiery, that halftime speech with the Georgia-Florida game, you know what he's going to be saying in that locker room. You may have to take that and talk about power. So,
we could dig it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He went in there and gave one of them speeches. So yeah, and people are all listen. For those of you folks that if you happen to hear it, and you think that was a bit much, okay, in 2021, we try and be kinder and gentler, kind of like Major Payne at the end of the movie where he's like, I'd like for you to not only think of me as your superior officer, but also as your friend. That's kind of what we've got to lean into. Listen, football is a game with 11 standing on the opposite side of you, that average weight of that stand at an average of about 6'3", and weigh about roughly 230 to 240 average. And that's not including the guys on the front end that are going to be coming at you at full speed. You have to be, in the words of Herman Boone, agile, mobile, and hostile, with emphasis on that hostile.
Right.
You got to slap a guy upside the head, knock him in the dirt. You think Derrick Henry would be stiff arming the hell out of people every Sunday before he got hurt if he was just all right, now you guys go out there, come on guys, let's go. Great game. Hey,
did you bump into me?
Mr. Catch, hey, missed the ball. Great way to be there. Great route running. We're gonna work on the catching part later. Don't worry, it's only week 3. We got time. We only have 2 losses. We're good. Like we don't have time for that. Like you know what? Like that ain't the first time Kirby got caught. Because he dropped the F-bomb on national TV.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I guess he didn't realize that he didn't realize that the referee's microphone was on, and he told him to catch the ball. And I can let you figure out what adjective he used that started with F.
Catch the filth flarn ball.
With G. Yes, kilts to catch the filth flarn ball. Yeah, that's exactly what Kirby had to say. So. Having said that, Dogs versus Bama, but this week Bama takes on Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and before last week, I thought that was going to be an interesting matchup, but with Bo Nix out and TJ Finley not really being able to generate anything, I don't know if it's a matter of. I think if Coach Harsin had put Finley in earlier in the season, the team would have had time to gel around him.
Yeah.
That
goes along with what you were saying last. I guess last week though. You were saying that he could either, and this might have answered your question. You know what I'm saying? That we put Finley in and they lost, right? So I mean, where do they go from here? You know, I mean that they are far from an Auburn team that I thought had were playing like they had nothing to lose and. And all we were talking about a couple weeks ago, but they really have, nothing to win or lose at all. They've got no reason.
At this point, I think Auburn still has an opportunity to be bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
But even at that, that's questionable. You have to take a closer look and examine and see where Auburn stands. And we're doing that right now. And Auburn, it doesn't even say how many wins they have. Give me a second.
But yeah, that's kind of ironic that actually, goes along with what you were saying last week.
I'm sorry. Auburn is bowl eligible. They did at least reach bowl eligibility, but now it's a question of what bowl they're going to play in. So I didn't want to dwell on that too much. But Auburn goes down to Columbia and lays a big fat egg. They wound up falling short to South Carolina.
That was one that I did not see.
Like I said, I think the move with TJ Finley should have been made a while ago, but it was too little, too late. Finley only mustered 188 yards on 17 of 32 passes, so his pass percentage was absolutely horrid. He threw one touchdown, we found Tank Bixby. Y'all can take him off the milk cart now because he showed up and ran for 184 yards and a touchdown. Remember, we've been saying it all season. Where the hell is Tank Bixby? Where the hell? If your nickname is Tank,
exactly.
If your nickname is Tank, you need to be running people over. You need to be Derrick Henry and people.
Exactly. If your name's Tank, you need to be tagging people,
slapping people. Look, I saw a video, and I think I showed it to you, or you showed it to me, of a kid in a little league game that stiff armed no less than 6 people on his way to run like an 86-yard touchdown. If your name is Tank, that's what you need to be doing.
Absolutely.
You don't need to be running at 28 yards. Where they do that at? 28 yards? Come on, man. And I know everybody's aspiration is to get into the league, but brother, you're not gonna get into the league if you show up in garbage game. In garbage time in a garbage game with nothing on the line,
right? Yeah,
and you show up then, like your dignity went out the window. Now you ain't got no dignity left. Where were you? Where were you against LSU? Where were you in those previous games? Now here we are. You got one game left, and it's against Alabama, who really has a point to prove, even though they've only got one loss and they've clinched the West. Now they got a point to prove. Now they can relax. Now they've already clinched. Now they're coming to knock your block off.
Exactly.
Something together, it's gonna be ugly. It's just like my alter ego said the other day. He said, I don't think they're gonna be. Somebody called Sarah McLachlan with the sad music, and we still try and raise some money for these young people. If you can help a war eagle, for the price of a cup of coffee daily. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to tell you, South Carolina, their starting quarterback wasn't all that great either. Brown went 10 of 15 for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw for 3 touchdowns on 157 yards passing. So what that tells me is not only did South Carolina win, they shut you down and managed to get good field position.
Right, yep.
Because he wasn't slinging. It's not like he was slinging the ball all over the field. 3 touchdowns is a good day for any quarterback. But he only had 157 yards passing. So the question is, will Bama be beaten by Auburn in the Iron Bowl? Right now, I'm saying no. You know how they tell you never say it never? I'm saying never. I don't know. I mean, Auburn, prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. Not because I don't like Bama, but this was supposed to be your year.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, we were talking about this about 3 or 4 weeks ago, So we were talking about them being the one to take them down, and it ain't looking that way. So I'm with you.
Yeah, this was supposed to be Phoenix rising from the ashes in the wake of Gus Malzahn and the Gus bus going down to UCF and doing all that stuff. And you just went down there and laid a big fat goose egg. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, this season has been a complete and total wash. I think this is hard. I think Harsin will probably get Harsin will be back. Harsin will be back.
I think so. That was the 3rd loss in a row, though. I mean, that was the A&M, Mississippi State, and South Carolina was the 3rd one in a row.
All A&M has been a good team this season. Don't let the 4 losses fool you. Mississippi State is surging, so they're having a late season surge. But Auburn was supposed to be better than all of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't really. Yeah, South Carolina. Come on, I mean, like that was just one that they should not have taken. They
And
should have
let's be
taken.
real. And let's be real. South Carolina is. But I have never, I can recall in recent years seen a surging South Carolina team ever be better than an Auburn squad.
No, that's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
you go back to Chiswick and Malzahn, and I've never seen South Carolina except for the year that Muschamp took him to the division championship.
Well, ball coach didn't take him. I mean, ball coach had him. Did he ever have a good team with South Carolina?
Spurrier?
Yeah.
Spurrier didn't stay very long, but I mean his and handling us more else. Yeah, I don't like Steve. I mean, I respect Steve Spurrier, but I don't like him because that's one coach. This was the monkey we never really got to get off our back very often.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
like the blackout bowl, the blackout game with the touchdown celebration.
Yeah,
that pissed Spurrier off. So he came back like, I got something for y'all next time.
It certainly did.
Let me see you in the street again. It's on site, homie. That's how that went.
That's one. Yeah, he's definitely had our number every year, like pretty much every year. I mean, except for maybe one or two, but he's had our number the whole time. But
absolutely, bro, absolutely. So where are we going with this now? I want to talk about. Well, I got another week to use this. I got one more week to use this after this. Texas loses to West Virginia. Where they do that at?
That certainly surprised me, though. Where they do that at? Evidently they do that.
Hold on. You're talking about a team. You're talking about Texas, the University of Texas,
right?
The Longhorns, a proud and storied football school with a long and storied football tradition. We think about the fact that we are not 20 years removed from the Vince Young years.
Oh, yeah.
And Ricky Williams. And we're not that far removed from that, okay? You get where I'm going? And
I think what's going down, man. I got you.
What's your boy's name that's backing up Kyler in Arizona? Is it Colt McCoy?
Is it Colt McCoy? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, you got a history of some dudes with some cannons and wide receivers and running back like crazy.
Ricky Williams.
Yeah, that Ricky Williams. Although Ricky, if only you could have waited until you got out of the league. It's legal now. Well, I mean, you still wouldn't have been able to do it while you were in the league. But if you could have waited, it's legal now. But not that it matters. He went to Jamaica or something like that. He looks like last time I saw him. Last time I saw him, he looked like a cross between Bobby McFerrin and Bob Marley, man. I'm telling you.
That's that,
every time I see him, every time I see Ricky Williams pop up in a picture on TV, I just hear Afro Man start playing. I was gonna go to work, and you know the rest. Storied football, a football program. In college football have played there. Some of the great players in the league have come from the University of Texas. Sure. And you go down and lose to a 6-loss West Virginia? Seriously? And you've lost your 6th straight?
Yes, sir. And that puts them at 4-7. Man,
yeah. I mean, and they're playing. Oh my God, who are they playing next week? Kansas State. They're playing Kansas State next week, and Kansas State, I think, is going to have fun with them.
I think they are.
Texas. I'm just going to say this. I don't know this for certain, but I'm pretty sure if you booked your trip with Travelocity, that there's a cancellation clause.
Yeah.
You call and ask to speak to Captain Obvious and tell him that you want to cancel your reservation to the SEC. Because boy, I tell you what, y'all probably need to stay another year in the Big 12, because if y'all come to SEC
at the very least,
listen, y'all come to SEC next year, you got South Carolina Bowl eligible. You got South Carolina Bowl eligible. Auburn at its worst managed to reek out 6 games. Texas A&M lost 4 games and still beat Alabama. Mississippi State with your boy Matt Corral. You got
Mhm.
Kentucky's on the rise. You got Arkansas's on the rise. You got all these squads on the come up. I don't know if you want to come over here and roll with the big boys just yet. Y'all might want to let Oklahoma go ahead and dip their toe in the water. You know, you just let them dip their toe in the water. Be like, go on in, man. I got the heater turned on. And you know, you ain't turned it on. You just want to see how hot it is. They jump in. Oh my God, it's so cold. Why you let me jump in this cold water? Well, truth be told, dog,
Make sure you use your big toe.
I just turned it on before you got here, so I didn't know how hot it was. That's basically. Or look, let Oklahoma go ahead and go first. That's like when you cook something and you don't know if it's gonna taste good. You be like, here, taste this.
Yeah,
you
took like, oh man, this is nasty. Taste this.
you took a little. How's it taste? Well, you taste it. I thought you make that face.
Exactly.
Be like, Mikey, you want it? I don't want it. I'm not going to eat it. You eat it. I'm not going to eat it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. Oklahoma, Mikey. You are Mikey. Mikey likes everything.
Mikey likes it.
Mikey likes everything. Hey. Oh, my God. Wow. So that's crazy. Texas, you got to where they do that award for 3 weeks running. Oh, yeah. I mean, for the sake of the show, that's gonna be a clip next week. For the sake of the show, I don't know. I don't know whether to root for you. I hope you lose again, so I can use it one more week, or worse yet, you win. Wait, you win, and then you get a bowl game, and you lose to like Coastal Carolina, and then I'll get it.
Yeah, no doubt. Coastal Carolina.
Oh my God, that's
good
horrible, man. Hey. Shucks. Man, so that's what we got there. I mean, there was some other SEC action, but not a lot of games that have a whole lot of consequence at this point, just because not to throw away the Kentuckys and the Mississippi States and things like that, but none of the games in the West had any bearing now since Alabama won. So that basically eliminated the whole 3-4-way tie thing. So that's basically what we got here. But there is a game I want to talk about. What in the world happened to Florida? Oh, we got some people in the chat right now. Tank's only a sophomore, Sean says. Hey, Sean, thank you for joining.
So, Sean.
And Sean did say that South Carolina, you did say that South Carolina Surgeon playing for a bowl game. They played above their weight. He said they'll be middle of the road next year with the recruits, and by year 3, they'll be in the mix. You know what, Sean? I have to agree with you 180%. That's Sean Spencer, one of our co-hosts. He's still part of the show, just not physically part of the show anymore. He's got some other projects on the come up. So we give big shouts out to our guy, Sean. And by the way, Sean, it was Sean's idea actually to start the show. So I gotta give my guy, my dude, big ups and much love for giving us this concept, because I mean we've come a long way in just a few short weeks. So we thank you, bro. We thank you and we appreciate you. But Florida, as the poem says, there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. The Gators, who had so much promise after that week 1 close nail biter of a loss to Alabama, they are now 5-6 with an upcoming game against another team on the rise. Not so much of a rise to be dangerous, but enough of a rise to be dangerous to Florida. The in-state rivalry against the FSU Seminoles. They wind up finishing the season 2-6 in conference play and are 5-6 overall. Dan Mullen, no longer part of the equation. Dan is gone. They said they fired him. Now, here's the thing about Dan Mullen. You sent me an article. They managed to lose in overtime. Missouri scores and goes for 2. 2-point conversion wins the game. Here's the thing about Dan Mullen. They gave him the option to coach the last game, with the option to coach the bowl game if they became bowl eligible with the win against the in-state rivalry against Florida State. Dan Mullen did like Dan Mullen said he was going to take the money and run. He took the money and ran. A $12 million buyout, $6 million up front, $1 million a year until the rest is paid out. So that means, I mean, how do you think those guys feel that he's been talking to and preaching to all season? Probably when he got rid of his coordinators trying to save his job, it's like, hey, I'll be here for you guys. I'm not going anywhere. We're all in this together. Team, rah rah, 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits a dollar. Those of you that don't know where that came from, that actually was a cheer that was originated by a man they call Mr. 2 Bits, who was a Florida fan. I think he just retired like recently, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He used to do the whole bit in a bow tie and the suspenders with the seersucker suit, and he'd go 2 bits, 2 bits, and then he'd point at 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, a dollar, all for the Gators. Stand up and holler. So if you've ever heard that cheer, that's where that originated, right down at the University of Florida with Mr. 2 Bits. Shout out to Mr. 2 Bits.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny you say that. I haven't thought about that in a long time, man. I'm surprised you know about that. That's hilarious.
Bruh, come on, man.
No, I wasn't having doubts on you. I haven't heard that in a long time. That's awesome.
That's awesome. This has been your This Week in SEC Football Trivia, brought to you by Mr. Fingers. So
just to jump in. So I mean, that article I sent you, right? So he had the option to actually coach the final game, coach against FSU. But I don't know if it was that same article, maybe another article I read. It was the question was raised that how much coaching was he actually doing there toward the end of the season there, and I don't know what they base that on. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but it was saying that I don't think he had any kind of leverage or any kind of play calling or anything there toward the end. I mean, that's what it sounded to me. I need to read a little bit more into it. But that would seem to be the speculation that he actually was checked out, and the front office has checked him out, before he was officially checked out. So that's what I was reading. So I don't know.
Okay.
And that goes back to what you were saying. How disheveled and as a team, like your players. I mean, your coach books out. There was one game to go, not even the bowl game.
You got not only one game to go with the possibility of still getting a bowl game, even with a 6-6 record.
Right.
And your coach just says, yeah, no, I'm going to take my money and dip.
I mean, that goes with what I'm saying is like we don't know the whole story. We don't know how the front office.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
There may be a reason he did that. So I mean, I don't know.
But the optics on that are very bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look good to somebody who might have, like any recruits that he had that was supposedly committed to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you talked to me about a prospect that decommitted because we don't know that that's why, but
yeah,
I'm pretty sure that Dan had courted him and talked to him and maybe come to visit him and maybe had him come to a game and some things like that. And now think about all of the players that were thinking about coming to play for Dan Mullen, despite this off season, that now will not come to Florida.
Right. I mean, that all begs the question.
Wait. Not just Florida, but any place else that he may wind up coaching,
right,
as a head coach.
Exactly.
Like if it was me, if I'm a high school sophomore right now, and I was thinking, and I'm in Tallahassee, and Florida was one of my destination schools that I was thinking about committing to, but I still might go someplace else and play. And I just watched Dan Mullen bail out, and now Dan Mullen winds up. Let's just say he winds up inheriting a job across the border in Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he winds up at Mississippi State or something like that. And now I'm a senior, and now I'm one of the five. I'm a 5-star player, and he tries to leverage the fact that he was a coach in Florida to come talk to me. I'll be like, "Yeah, thanks, coach, but I'm good," because I need to know that even in a bad situation, that you're not going to bail out on us. Even if they decide to fire you and let you coach out the rest of the season, that you're at least going to hang around. Because look, like everybody's dogging Coach O. At least he stuck the season out.
Yeah, that's absolute. Yeah, that's a fact. That's an absolute fact.
He could have left, but they let him coach the rest of the season. And be damned if they aren't a game shy of potentially going to a bowl game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
And here's Florida, and here's the poor kids at Florida with the 2 quarterback system that he's putting them through and bouncing back and forth between the quarterbacks and all of that good stuff. And now, now they got no coach. Now they have an interim coach.
Yeah, and that begs the question on who's gonna want to sliding their hiding corners in that seat that has just been vacated. I mean, who's going to be talked about, to fill that seat as the head coach of the Florida Gators. But
yeah, absolutely, man. I don't have a lot more to say about that other than just
no.
wow.
Yeah, that was definitely a shock, them losing to Missouri, but in that fashion, and the after effect of that, we kind of knew, everybody knew he was going to be gone. I had a very good specific feeling that he was going to be gone. But to check out like this,
Well,
and
that just goes to show you the SEC is not they don't play around, bro. I mean, didn't he just win? He just won the division championship last year before.
SEC? I think so. It was last year before last, yeah.
I think it was last year he won the Eastern Division. Gone.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Ogeron, national championship winner 2 years ago. Gone. Like, you can't come to the SEC and not be straight. I mean, you're just not guaranteed at all. A little break in the action here. We could get back in the action in just a minute. Bruh, have you ever heard of linkapp.com?
Link app? No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's linqapp.com. I saw a little thing for it, and I decided to get one of these, and it looks just like this. It looks like a credit card. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But what it is, it's got the code on the back. And if you tap this to an Android phone, you put your particulars in there, all your socials. Like, what I did was I've got the Zagnif page, the Zagnif website, the Zagnif my music YouTube page, a couple other things that I have on here. So if somebody says, "Hey, do you have a business card? Do you have a place where we can see your podcast?" On an Android, I just tap it to the back to the camera, bloop, it's in their phone. On an iPhone, they take a picture of the QR code, bloop, it adds to the phone, they add your contact, they got it. No more paper business cards. And this is not a paid promotion, but I just want to say I haven't even used it yet. I just got it and tested it out on my phone and the missus. If you want a business card solution, go see the people at linkapp.com, linqapp.com. And of course, I got this one in all black, so it would go nice with the Zagnif logo right there.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. You know what's funny about this? There was a guy that came to my show when I was working at Breakers. This was back, I want to say 9-10 years ago. And he was a little bit of a geeky guy. And he said, "Yeah, I'm working on this project." And my wife will back the story up because I told her about it. I'm working on this project where he said, imagine if you could put all your business card information in a card with a chip and you could just scan it and people would have your information in it because, you got the smartphone. Smartphones already got the capability to do all that stuff. And I was like, dude, that would be absolutely ingenious. Well, here I am 10 years later because I thought that dude was absolutely crazy. I thought he was just as crazy as Doc Brown trying to tell the townspeople of Twin Pines Valley that he could go back in time with his DeLorean. Well, here I am holding. I don't know if this is his invention or if he still worked on a project, but brother, if you're out there, kudos on a job well done. So if you need one of these, I know there's other ones, but I'm just going to recommend the Link app because you can get a card, you can get a thingy, you can get a fitness tracker that does the same thing. Bloop, just tap it to the phone. And they'll get all your information, and you get to decide what information goes on there.
That's going to be my next question.
Yeah. You personally go online and put whatever information shows up on here. So, there it is, the Link app card. I think that is very cool. I might talk to them about hey, maybe get a sponsor.
Hey.
Talk to them. We don't have enough of a following yet, but we keep working on it since I'm a Link app card user. Anyway. Speaking of sponsors, we did shout out. Don't forget, also this next segment will be brought to us by courtesy of 1906tees.com. My man Rick, I got to get with him because he hasn't said whether or not my shirt is done or not. But I'm looking forward to seeing what the finished product is. It normally takes him about a week to 10 days to come up with a concept. So hopefully he'll have a little something for me to look at soon. Rick, if you're out there, thank you so much for being a sponsor of the show. This next segment, we're going to talk about some big winners. We talked about some losers. We're going to talk about some big winners, and we're going to start right at the top, bro.
Yep.
Ohio State. Whew, man, what the hell can I say about Ohio State? You want to talk about a team that bounced back from a loss that everybody thought was going to be basically the litmus test for the remainder of their season.
Right.
Yeah, no. Michigan State, Ohio State show up. Michigan State shows up at the Horseshoe. Both teams with one loss. Both teams would play a playoff. Simply just dominated Michigan State from the first kickoff till the clock hit zero. It was just ridiculous that there was. And here's the thing: there wasn't anything special about what Ohio State did to beat Michigan, like in terms of defense. Like there were no. I checked the stat line: no interceptions, no sacks. I don't even think there were any fumble recoveries.
It was a pretty clean game, yeah.
They just smothered the ever-loving daylights out of it. Just smother your face defense. Just got on them and stayed on them.
Yep.
I mean, the Spartans have now fallen to 12 in the AP poll, and they're now a 2-loss team. Yep. That makes 2 losses, right? Yeah, they're a 2-loss team. So even though they may still potentially have a shot, I have to look at where we are in the I got to look at where they are in the grand scheme of things as far as the Big Ten. But they're a 2-loss team now. So now it's down to Ohio State and Michigan, and one of them is going to eliminate the other. So it's either going to be Michigan or Ohio State to claim the Big Ten. But Michigan State has been essentially eliminated from winning the from playoff contention is where that is. So Ohio State is likely, I think we'll talk about this a little bit more, but you said it. But man, well, you go ahead and talk about it.
About what do you mean?
Ohio State and where they could potentially.
Oh yeah. Well, I was talking. I actually sent that to you this past weekend because I saw what was going on, and then I saw we'll talk about the next game. I'm not going to throw it out there yet, but we had another upset that we're going to talk about in a minute. But so I'm thinking that it'll be us, and I think honestly I think Ohio State's going to jump Alabama to be number 2, and I think Alabama's going to be 3. And we were talking about that the number 4 spot. Kind of up for grabs, but I mean, I'd like to see Cincinnati in there. But
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I mean, and Sean, you're absolutely right. MSU had nothing. CJ Stroud. If he wanted to dink and dunk, he dinked and dunked, and if he wanted to cock back and let loose, he cocked back and let loose. And he did that all day. The kid was absolutely brilliant, man. 6 touchdowns. How many 6 touchdowns? I need a stat. Sean, since you're watching, you probably got a show going on later. If you don't, no, you're probably already done. I'll come check you out later. Our boy Sean Spencer, let's talk football. Let me give you the rundown. Monday nights, let's talk football. Tuesday nights, the round table. Wednesday nights, Washington Football Weekly. Thursday nights, let's talk fantasy football. Fridays, the pregame rundown for Friday is the pregame run. No, I'm sorry. Sunday or Saturday, Sunday morning, he does a pregame rundown on it's kind of a fantasy football and NFL rundown all the way around the board. One of the hardest working men in the podcast business right there. And this guy, if you got a minute while you're watching, brother, can you look up how many 6 touchdown games that we have had this year in the NCAA? Because that is absolutely, I mean, there's one, we talk about at least one every week. Stroud had 6 touchdowns, 432 yards. He only missed on 3 of his 35 passes. That is a hell of a completion percentage there. He had 3 receivers over 100 yards. Chris Olave.
So Anthony, that begs the question. So now this goes on the conversation us 3 have had with Sean was on here. Do you think that gives a chance for Stroud to, like, if we end up playing Ohio State, do you think he's going to shred our secondary like he did them?
Say again. If we play
So
Ohio
do you
State,
think that Stroud? Yeah, if we end up playing Ohio State, do you think, Stroud is going to shred, the secondary exploit our secondary?
well,
Could be a
there has been some speculation that we could potentially wind up playing Ohio State in the championship game, and I've got to be completely honest with you. Our secondary has not been tested.
Right.
We've played some teams with some quarterbacks that got some ability, but again, it's a matter of, can you get to that quarterback?
Right.
If you give the quarterback all day to stand in the pocket, if you give a quarterback a clean pocket, he'll pick you stupid all day.
Yeah.
So not only was Michigan State had no pass defense, they had no front seven. So
they had no rush.
if your front seven is ineffective, then your secondary is going to be your secondary is going to have to be jam up and jelly tight. Like, everybody can't have Deion Sanders and Revis Island and Richard Sherman and give me another and Rod Woodson in their secondary. You dig what I'm saying? So our secondary hasn't been tested, and that's a concern for me. I don't foresee it being much of an issue, but we kind of getting ahead of ourselves right now.
We definitely put a car before the horse.
Because we talked about the SEC championship, and we haven't even talked about the fact that Georgia's got to travel to Atlanta and play Georgia Tech. Not that I'm expecting much out of Georgia Tech, because Notre Dame laid a big fat donut on the Techies, the Yellow Jackets, this past weekend. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't think there will be many Georgia Tech fans left at Bobby Dodge Stadium after halftime. About halfway through the third quarter. So, did you see that Pickens? Speaking of, did you see that Pickens was dressed out?
I did.
Pickens and Blaylock were dressed out.
And Blaylock, I was going to mention that as well. Yeah, they were dressed to impress. Didn't see the action though.
Hey, Sean, I have to address that. They said that would be a problem for us with Tennessee, because Tennessee also was notorious for running in no huddle, and basically we slowed them down, kept them off the field, and grounded out on the ground. I don't see. Well, and then you know what though? That's a concern too, because they were able to shut down Kenneth Walker, and Kenneth Walker is a Heisman Trophy candidate. We don't have any stud running backs, but we've got a decent run game. Like, the run game bolsters us enough to open up the pass.
Right.
But if they shut down the run and Stetsy's got a pass, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. But that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, if they do.
Nah, Sean, they played us tough for one series, bruv. One series. One series. I'll make sure, because I watched that game from start to finish, because I was like, "Ooh, I gotta peep this." They played us tough for one series. They ran down the field and scored. Okay, and I think they got another score in the first half. It's been a few weeks. I forgot already. But the no huddle. No, you're the one that talked about it. You said Ohio State ran a no huddle, and I said we played it. And all I'm saying is that we played a team that ran a no huddle. So, and we see how Kirby was able to adjust against that. I think that's where how did the early part of the Tennessee game go? They ran down and scored on us. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, that was the first. Yeah, absolutely.
But again, it was all about the adjustments. So Kirby has shown some growth, because we had trouble with the hurry up offense in years past. So what happened is Kirby has learned how to adjust. I mean, he went out and got a hella D coordinator, and he went and got Muschamp.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, no, I'm definitely not making a comparison between Ohio State and Tennessee in terms of whatever. All I'm saying is, you're right, Sean. You're right. Calm down over there.
Hey,
calm down. Hey, he getting all up in the Kool-Aid.
Look at him. Where we at?
Yes, they did. You're right. Sean, this is me saying you're right. All I'm saying, adjustments were made. That was one of our downfalls in years past. Kirby's learned how to make adjustments. So we'll see if we wind up playing in Ohio State. Because right now, here's the two teams in front of. We got two teams in front of us. We got Georgia Tech. We pretty much know how that's going to go.
Right.
We got Alabama that we got to prep for. And once we get past those two teams, regardless how either of those games go, although I know that's a W with Georgia Tech, I'm thinking very highly that's going to be a Georgia Tech, and that's going to be a win at Georgia Tech. And I'm thinking we have a really, really good chance of winning against Alabama. Once we get through those two teams and those two games, then I'm no coach. So I have the luxury of being able to look at it and look forward and see what I think would be some potential problems. And you're right. I think the hurry up did give us some issues with Tennessee off top where we made the adjustments.
We haven't seen it that much either.
Ohio State is a whole different ball game, though. We have not played a single team this season with a quarterback with the potential to throw that many touchdowns in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a real test because you're talking Bryce in 2 weeks, and then who knows who the heck we're going to play in the playoffs, assuming all things go as we think they will, moving forward to the playoffs, it depends on who we draw and where everybody lines up.
Absolutely.
So, Sean, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you keeping it 100, though, man. I see you. Man, you done threw me all off what the hell I was talking about. So we got done. We talked about that. So yeah, let's go. Let's come talk about this right here. Let me take that off the thing there. I'm gonna leave that. You know what? We'll take it off the thing there. The go get your SEC gear today. I don't know if you guys saw. We got some really cool stuff. We just dropped a whole line. And when I say line, I mean line of merchandise. We're talking t-shirts, we're talking long sleeve t-shirts, short sleeve t-shirts, crew neck t-shirts, V-neck t-shirts, muscle tees, tank tops, and a whole rack for ladies. I'm telling you what, there are flowy tank tops, there are traditional tank tops. You also got muscle tees, you got curvy women, and I got me a curvy woman at home, and I love my curvy woman. Hey, baby, she's not watching right now. I'm gonna have to cut that part out and put out there for her later. But you got the curvy women, you got maternity stuff, you got hoodie dresses, you got crop tops. Ladies, y'all got options for days. And this one here, I don't know which one this is right here. This is the new this week in SEC football t-shirt right here.
Yeah.
It's got the Zagnif apparel logo on the back. It's got the This Week in SEC football logo on the front. It's pretty tight. Head on over to Zazzle.com/Zagnif_apparel. You see it right there at the bottom of the screen. Go over there and get yourself some t-shirts today. And again, remember, we are giving away. I'm going to go ahead and make this PSA now so that I can chop it out of the show later and put it out for people to see. This week, Ohio State, Michigan, closest to the score without going over. So we need who's going to win and closest to the score without going over. You can't just give me a score and say, I gave you a score. No, but you didn't tell us who's going to win. So we need to tell us who's going to win and what the score is going to be. Closest to that without going over. 2 people will win that very cool t-shirt that you just saw on the screen right there. We're going to give away a couple of Zagnif apparel This Week in SEC football t-shirts. Don't you worry. We'll have some more Bama do what Bama does with Bama do stuff going on a little bit later on. We'll wait and see how things go with the SEC championship. We might do that the week of the championship game. So go to that website right there, Zagnif apparel, Zazzle.com/Zagnif apparel. Get yourself one of those cool shirts today. So we were talking about Ohio State, Cincinnati, Michigan, and Notre Dame all winning big. Why are those wins big? I'll tell you why they're big. Cincinnati remains undefeated. Did we talk about them? Oh, we didn't talk about them, but
No.
you know what? We'll talk about them later. I was thinking about OU, OU and Iowa State, but OU beat Iowa State. We talked about that. We did
Yeah.
earlier. Man, I'm off my game today, bro. I'm off my game.
That's what
I'm
happens when
off
you
my
work so
game,
much.
bruh. Oh no, I've got it right here. I do have it right here. I did pull it up. All right, the Cincinnati Bearcats managed to win and win very convincingly. They're now 11-0 in the American Conference. They're the highest ranked G5 team in NCAA history since the time that they broke off the G5. They went down to SMU. And they laid some lumber to SMU, and SMU is no slouch. Remember, I told you Tanner Mordecai left Oklahoma after backing up a whole plethora of people up here in Norman. Went down to SMU and was having himself a field day. They handed SMU a very sizable loss, 48-14. Even though SMU not in the top 25, quality win against a winning opponent. Was a statement win for Cincinnati.
Sure.
They have Eastern Carolina coming up this weekend. I foresee Cincinnati closing out the season 12-0, unless we have another crazy chaos Saturday. I foresee Cincinnati finishing out 12-0. Like you said, they will more than likely tomorrow night find themselves inside the top four for reasons that we will get to a little bit later. We'll talk about it in just a second. Huge win for Cincinnati. We'll come back to their stats in just a minute. Michigan gets it done. And I've got that written down here somewhere. Where the heck did I put it? Yep, Michigan gets it done. As our good friend, the gold and blue guy from West Virginia says every week. They go to College Park, and boy, look, I'm tell you what. Maryland. They gave Maryland enough lumber. They laid down enough lumber on Maryland for Maryland to build a couple of dormitories on that campus. 59-18. 59-18. Not going to really go through the stat line. Not going to go to the stat line too much, but suffice to say that baby Tagovailoa, very pedestrian, 19 of 33 for 178 with one touchdown and one interception. Michigan now faces OSU this coming weekend for the game. That game, you know that game. So the question is, will Mr. Harbaugh get it done this year, or will it be another season of empty promises left unfulfilled?
Well, if it does happen, oh my gosh, would it throw a wrench into everything? I mean, it would it'd be unreal.
Oh, dude, because you know who's still chasing? Wisconsin.
Yeah,
if Wisconsin wins out, throws the monkey wrench in the whole program.
Yes, sir.
I mean, like if they win out, and by win out, I mean if Wisconsin wins all their game this Saturday, and they get into the Big Ten playoffs, and they beat whoever is in the Big Ten playoffs, they will essentially eliminate the Big Ten from college football playoff contention because the conference championship winner will the conference championship winner, if Wisconsin wins, will have at least 2 losses. Sean says Cincinnati's going to play Houston for their conference championship.
That's true.
That's a given, bro. That's a given. And Houston is coming on strong too. This is the thing that I like to see about college football in pro football, those guys get paid a lot of money. They're supposed to know how to do this kind of thing. These kids are still kind of working their way and figuring it out. And with the kids, you get a whole brand new batch of them every single year. So you're having to go through the whole cycle every single year. But to see these teams that pull it together and finish strong every single year, I mean, I just ran through the whole litany of who in the SEC is coming back strong.
Yeah.
And who Texas does not want to face.
They don't. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that would be Houston's always been kind of a one not to look over, not to look aside. They've been pretty good the past couple of years.
Yeah. So and that's again, you at this point, but dude, could you imagine if they play Houston and they lose,
And
that's another monkey wrench.
Man, I'm glad some people are paid to get paid to work all that stuff out.
I mean, that's a whole other monkey wrench, though. But well, not really, and I tell you why. Because I can tell you with all assurity that the committee is just waiting for a reason to say, see, this is why they shouldn't have been ranked this high, despite the fact that they have done everything. They have done everything they were supposed to do this year.
Right.
They have beaten. They have not had a closest game they had this season was against Tulsa, was an 8-point win. They have beaten everybody this year by at least a minimum. Oh, I'm sorry. They had another one against Navy, was a 7-point win. So they had 2 close wins this year. But everybody else, they beat by 10 or more points, by double digits. All but 2 wins by double digits or more. Some teams they just completely blew out of water. But I mean, okay, Murray State 42-7. He was expecting that. Temple 52-3. How about Temple? Speaking of Temple, side note, our boy DeJuan Mathis, the prodigal son that left Georgia into the transfer portal, went to Temple and was like, man, this sucks here too. He's back in the transfer portal. He's going to wind up. Sean, hold that thought. I'm going to come to your questions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to throw it up on the screen there so we'll get to it. He's going to wind up becoming the next Martell Tate, or Tate Martell. I'm sorry.
I don't know. He's definitely being talked about several places. I've read a lot of articles about him, and it was actually coming out before he actually the second time he was in that portal. Like evidently he's got a history of doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, because didn't he come to us from someplace else? Where was he before he was in Georgia?
I remember where he was.
You know what? It doesn't matter. He was at another school. He left that school, transferred to Georgia, found out that the competition was a lot more than he expected. He jumped back in the transfer portal like that Dr. Pepper Fansville commercial, went to Temple, won the starting job, found out that Temple sucked. Now he's back in the portal. Do you sincerely think he's going to wind up being that kid that's like a UDFA?
Yeah.
Agent. Get on the practice. Who wants that guy?
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't want him. I mean, he bounces around if he don't get the start. I mean, but see, that's the thing is he had the starting position. He had a starting job at Temple, and he's still.
Well, I don't think he. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you got what you wanted. You got to be the starting quarterback, but you want to leave here because the team sucks.
Yeah, because yeah.
Like seriously. That's crazy. Sean, I'm leaving your question up there. We will come back to that in just a second. What else? Where were we? I think we covered everybody. Notre Dame also comes up with that big win. We did talk about them. They blanked Georgia Tech. They gave them a big fat donut. I expect Notre Dame to be in the neighborhood. I expect for Notre Dame to be in the neighborhood. Right now, they're ranked. Right now, before tomorrow's rankings, they are still at number 8 on the CFP. So I don't know. There might be some good juju in the works for Notre Dame, depending on how things go. So now I'm gonna address your question, Sean. I'll go ahead and talk to what happens if Bama beats Georgia. Okay, let's just say Georgia wins tomorrow or Saturday. God, I'm thinking it's the end of the week already.
I wish it was.
Georgia beats Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Goes to the SEC championship. I'll get to your next question in a sec. Sean, hang tight. Let me get this one out of the way first. Georgia beats Georgia Tech, finishes with a perfect record, and goes into the SEC championship game as the number 1 team in the nation. Loses to Bama, who we suspect will be ranked number 3 in the nation, unless because beating Auburn is not going to be considered a quality win. So jumps Alabama to 3. Oregon's going to topple all the way out. Cincinnati will probably get the number 4 spot. Now, what I'm saying is I think that depending on how the conference championships shake out, I still don't foresee Georgia not getting a slot in the playoffs. Period.
No, I agree with you because I mean we'll either be 1 or we'll be 4. I mean, there's no way we're not giving that shot. I mean, if we lose the
Right.
Bama, we're going to be in the 14.
That's just my 2 cents. Now we talked about earlier how Arkansas was ranked number 21 in the CFP going into this weekend, and they're still ranked number 24 or 25 in the AP poll. And I'm not a conspiracy guy, but the more I hear people talk about it, it almost makes sense. You can't have enough people saying, "Hey, do you smell smoke?" without eventually going, "Damn, there's a fire." But they're saying that the reason that Arkansas, who at this point has 4 losses, is still ranked in the top 25 when you've got plenty of 2-loss teams and good 1-loss teams that aren't in the top 25 is to give Bama till the end of the week to play Auburn and win and still have a quality win on in their win over Arkansas because Arkansas almost got them.
I know.
And here's the other thing. If they beat Auburn, Auburn still got 6 wins, right? Auburn still got 6 wins. So you beat a bowl eligible team, a non-ranked, but bowl eligible team for your last game in a rivalry game, and you beat a top 25 team that the week before. That's just the way the conspiracy theory goes. But to answer your question, Sean, if we lose, I don't think we fall out of the top 4. If we go in ranked number 1 and we play Bama in a close game, I still see us finishing in the top 4.
Well, let's flip that. Let's flip this and pose it back to Sean here. Let's do this as a casual conversation here. What if Bama loses to Auburn, which I don't foresee it happen? So, do you think, any way, shape, or form, they're going to let a 2-loss Bama into the playoff? Will that happen?
If Bama loses, if Bama loses to Auburn but beats us in the SEC championship?
No. I mean, well, I take that back. All right, I take that back. So So they win against Auburn, but we beat them. So they have 2 losses, right? They'll have 2 losses. They have a loss against A&M. They'll have a loss against us in the championship if we beat them. And I'm putting the cart before the horse. Do they let a 2-loss Alabama team in a playoff? Will they?
Well, the logic again would be their last win. They beat Arkansas, who's a top 25 team. They beat a bowl eligible Auburn. And then they lost to the number 1 team in the country in the championship game. I mean, hell, let's just call it how we see it. 4 years ago, they didn't even play in the conference championship and still made it into the playoffs.
That's my point exactly. I mean, that's my point exactly.
I can't really call it, man. I can't call it. I can't call it when it comes to Bama. I think
anybody can, to be honest with you.
I think Georgia's body of work has been too prodigious this year for them to be denied a shot in the playoff. Colin, the next question for you is, what do you think of UTSA, San Antonio? Hadn't had much of a chance to follow them. They have at this point, I believe they either have 1 loss, so they are undefeated. And for a small school out of San Antonio, Texas, when you've got the big brother school 45 minutes down the road in Austin that can't win not one of your last 6 games in the Longhorns, and you got A&M over in they are.
Sean,
thank you.
Sean, I got you because I actually watched a little bit of that game. I watched a little bit of that Alabama Birmingham game. Yeah, I actually like them, dude. I don't have a lot to I haven't watched them a lot, but I like the way they played. What at 15 now? I guess they play North Texas next. Yeah, I like watching that.
Yeah, which is a win for them.
I mean, I watched them play against Alabama Birmingham, and that was a good game. I watched a little bit of that game.
Yeah, like I said, this week I definitely was derelict in my duties. So yeah, thank you, Sean, for coming on. And
dude, miss you, dog.
And don't go anywhere. Hang around because we got more stuff coming. Where are we? There's one more that I want.
Yeah, we got to get to that one.
So there's another segment. We got to get into this segment right here. Also brought to us by 1906tees.com. So Wake Forest couldn't get it done, man. It falls short to Clemson. I'm not even going to lie to you. Full disclosure. Clemson lost to Georgia in the season opener. Okay. I was like, all right, cool. We got a quality win against the Clemson team who's a couple of years removed from a national championship, was still in the running for championship last year. Yes, they lost a goodly amount of their they lost Etienne and they lost Lawrence, but I see them coming back and doing big things. And then they lost again. Then they lost to North Carolina State, and then they lost to Pitt, and then DJ Ukulele I saw was being sat down to have the second string come in and play. They just kind of faded off my radar, okay? Because we talk about SEC football. I go to start taking notes to catch up on the games this weekend, and I told Colin, and this is no lie, I won't say exactly what I said, but I used something about the well, I can't even describe it without going to it, but I just said, holy crap, Clemson is 8-3. When did that happen?
Right.
I had zero clue. They were so far off my radar, and the ACC was kind of falling off my radar with Wake Forest, with North Carolina losing, and then Wake Forest losing. I was just kind of like, and then FSU being in the toilet, Miami being in the toilet. I was like, I'm not writing them off, but they're not really going to be much of a playoff issue. As far they're not going to be a playoff contender. They'll have a good conference championship and some good end of season rivalries, but the CFP not in the bag. So I look, that's a holy crap. And Clemson took Wake Forest to the woodshed.
Yeah,
They did. Some new dormitories on the campus of Wake Forest too, 27-48. And when you look at the losses, if you look at Clemson's losses, even though it pretty much knocked them out of the CFP running, all three of those losses can be considered they're not give-me's, but there's no such thing as a quality loss. But if there was such a thing, they lost to the number 1 team in the country, the number 18 team in the country, and the number 20 team in the country by AP ranking right now. That's who they lost to this season. They won 4 in a row. DJ wasn't a world beater, but 208 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pickle.
Well, look at Harmon. Harmon had 312 yards. He had a touchdown and a pick, but I mean, he still had yards. He was throwing over 50%.
Right, and both. Now here was a kicker. Kobe Pryor had 191 yards and 2 touchdowns on 24 runs.
Oh yeah.
Shipley had 19 rushes for 112 yards and 2 TDs. So between DJ wasn't bad. He did enough to not lose the game,
right?
But the running game definitely shored him up, and the defense definitely shut Wake Forest down. Now, here's the funky thing about this. Peep this. The Clemson Tigers, who we thought were all but eliminated from any kind of accolades this season, are not only bowl eligible, but are still in a spot to win the ACC Atlantic. And all that has to happen is Boston College has to beat Wake Forest next week.
Really?
Yep. If Clemson wins next week, and Clemson's game next week is not it's not a conference game, I don't think. But if Clemson wins next week, and Boston College beats Wake Forest, Clemson ties up the ACC Atlantic and goes to the Big 12, goes to the ACC championship. After that lackluster start that they came up with so far this season. That only in college football can something like that happen.
Exactly. And it looks like, Wake's only picked by 5, so should be a good game.
Yeah, dude, Michigan State just got it handed to them, man.
Yeah.
Michigan State got it handed to them. I'm going to say it again. Michigan State got it handed to them.
Yes.
And we talked about that game earlier, but still, the Michigan State, there's nothing else that I can really say about that because we already talked about that one.
Nope.
Now, here's the one that I really was looking forward to talking about because this one was the biggest shocker of all. Number 3, Oregon.
Yes,
Number
sir.
3 in the country on the CFP goes down to the land of the family Osmond, the Duggars, the land of the Duggars. I want to say John and Kate plus 8 because they had a bunch of kids, but we know that wasn't the case. Let's see
No.
what's going on in here in the
No.
chat. Yeah. Hey, sir, I paid my penance, okay? I went on your show and wore a Dallas Cowboys jersey. Like I said I was going to do. And we said we was going to let that be in the past. Now you got to be bringing up old stuff in front of company. Don't act like that.
That was pretty harsh. Harsh, Sean. Pretty harsh.
Don't do that. Don't do that to your boy, man. We done been through together, man. This is how we go. CMB. Am I my brother's keeper? Do me like that.
I got to bring the Falcons. Hey, man, we're on to work on that bifector. We worry about that trifecta. We'll get those Falcons out of here. We're going to try to get that Georgia and Natty, and then we got the Braves. We're good. We're all right.
Listen, Sean, all I got to tell you is be careful, brother, because my team won 2 games they wasn't supposed to win, and then we got a little cocky, and then we got hurt, and Cat Williams had to come in and ask for help. Can't talk about your ladies' team. Oh, Michigan State. I'm not trying to talk bad about them. They got to hand it to them. What can I say?
See, that's where that came from. Now I see.
Okay. You standing up for your lady.
Yeah,
Cat, you got you a real one. He 100.
Yeah.
He 100. He 100. He gonna send me a message in the chat later, be like, sorry about that, bro. But I had to stand up for the lady. Yeah. Now I'm playing. But I feel you, bro. But Michigan State, I really Mel Tucker, and that sucks because they just gave Mel Tucker that big contract extension.
They sure did, yep.
They gave him a nice fat contract extension, and that one hurt. So Oregon, as I was saying, goes down to Utah. I'm gonna get back to your comment in a second, sir. Oregon goes down to Utah, the land of the Osmonds, the land of Salt Lake City, where the Olympics were once held, the land of the Duggars, and I think at last count there's like 67 or something of them. And they face off against the Utah Utes.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
What is it?
And the Utes managed to shock the Ducks and the whole NCAA. Shocked everybody. I'm just saying. Now, Utah is no slouch. Utah is a good team, but nobody was expecting it to go like this. I thought it was going to be a closer game than Oregon was going to edge out. I thought it was going to be a squeaker.
Out the gate, man. Out the gate, I knew it was going to happen. Remember, I texted you right off the bat. I was like, look at these guys. Yeah.
I forgot what game I was watching. I was watching another game altogether, and he was like, bruh. Like, Pat was like, yo, Pete. It was like Craig and Smokey. When Craig hit Smokey, he's like, yo, Pete, and Miss Part and Gina ran by. She's like, hey.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh my God. Like, man. Most likely with this loss, Oregon is going to fall out of the range of the CFP. And once again, the Pac-12 will be on the outside looking in for the college football playoffs. Tomorrow's new rankings are coming out. I don't see Oregon being anywhere near 6. I see him drop it down. I see they're going to drop them down to probably 8 or 9, where they'll be just out of range, even if they win the conference championship. And they'll have 2 losses. Right. Utah has now claimed their berth in the Pac-12 championship game. They're waiting on the North champion to see basically who they're going to play. And boy, you know those Utes.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
All right, man, they got to be excited. Man, come on, look, man. It's so as I started, I was going to throw that out there. So basically the stage, Oregon still has a chance to play in the Pac-12 championship game, but it is not going to be a representative from the Pac-12, and I don't foresee there being a representative from the Pac-12 in the college football playoff. And they've been playing their faces off. They've been playing their faces off. And I'm just going to call it the nail in the coffin for me as I was watching that game was right before halftime. Oregon has to punt to Utah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was 21 last time, right? 21
right. I was getting up to go to the bathroom because I figured he was going to scramble around, maybe get 10 or 15 yards, get tackled. They were going to go to halftime. I was going to take my halftime break, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I heard the announcer get stupid excited. I stopped. I turned around. I see Brian Covey dipping and dodging tackles, dipping out to the outside. He got one of the best things about that play was that no block. I don't know who his player was. He threw a no block. It wasn't because if he hit him, it would have been a block in the back. So he just kind of positioned himself between him and the runner. That no block opened up that lane for him, and he just tiptoed down the sideline for 70. I said at that point, for me, that was when the game was over. I said Oregon is not coming back from that.
No, I didn't think they would either. Nope. I mean, that was painful to watch first half. It was just they were on all cylinders. Like what's going with what Sean just said, that makes a lot more sense now to me. Yeah, that proved it up that they were cohesive, definitely playing good together.
Absolutely. You want to talk about playing inspired? You want to talk about playing inspired? And how about talking about Utah on the whole as a come up? BYU with the late season surge and Utah doing their thing. Dude, do you know that Utah held Oregon to 58 yards rushing the whole game? 58. That's it. And they outpassed Oregon by almost 100 yards. Like seriously, it was a wrap from the giddy up. They came out. Right. I always talk about this factor. Sean, you can back me up on this. If I'm lying, please let me know. But we talk about this all the time. There is no team, ours included, God forbid, you hear me knocking on wood, that if you go out there and you beat them in the mouth and you keep beating them in the mouth while they're back on their heels, you can put them down. There is no giant so big that it cannot be slain at all. Mm-hmm. The only team is, there's only been a few teams to be able to do that. LSU ran the table. The 72 Dolphins ran the table. Even the 85 Bears, in all of their greatness, still had one blemish on their record. So there's no giant so large that you can't unperch. And Utah definitely did that thing. So congratulations to the Utes.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
On there, I'm having too much fun with that. Congratulations to Utah on their win. And the first thing y'all that Colin and I talked about, we got on when we were in the green room before we came live. He's like, bruh, you got to tell me you got the clip from My Cousin Vinny. I was like, bruh, I'm already on it. So we got it. We tested it. We both had a real good laugh over that. So, so Oregon, well, worst case scenario is you can always come up with maybe you can come up with a My Cousin Vinny themed uniform for the championship game. I'm not sure. That pretty much, man, dude, that one was the game of the week for me. Not because it was closely contested, not because it was closely contested, not because it was a last second thriller. It's just because Utah is a good team that we expected to put up a good fight, but not win. And Utah came out and said, not only will we put up a good game, we will beat you. And not only will we beat you, we will throttle you. We will crush you. We will do. Hey, you know what happened? That they listened to Kirby Smart's speech before they went out on the field.
That's probably what it is. Somebody just snuck it.
Hey, you go out there and you feel flooring. You go out there and flouring filth and filthy filth and flouring your filth and foul, and you do that to them, and that's what you did, and that's what they did. Oh yeah, they came out there and they definitely did it, man. That
was a good game to watch, though. Absolutely.
You know what? I don't even have another reason. I just one more time for the good of the.
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
I could watch that all day too.
I could. That movie is in my top 10. That movie's actually in my top 5. That's in my top 5, and that's for me. That's high. That's rare air. It's up there with Coming to America, bro. You know how me and Coming to America are, Doc.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So basically what we got going on is the SEC has already been determined.
Yeah.
Cincinnati is more than likely going to play Houston, like Sean said, because I think that one's been determined in the G5. But it's in Power 5. Chew on this for a minute. We still got some games that are determining factors, even though next week is the last week of regular season play. Check this out. We talked about earlier, Wake Forest versus Boston College. That is a determining factor. In the Big 12, you got OU versus Oklahoma State. That is a determining factor. Because remember, if OU wins, they're in. Done deal. If Oklahoma State wins, Oklahoma State is in, and Baylor has the tiebreaker. So it'll be Oklahoma State versus Baylor. But for the Big 12 championship. But that Oklahoma State OU game, that one is the determining factor. We got Oregon versus Oregon State. That's still a determining factor. And up in the Big 10, you got the game, Michigan versus OSU. So, dude, we are down to, it is literally coming down to the wire. And 4 of the 5 Power 5 conferences still don't have the conference championships lined up. How crazy has this season been?
This season's been insane. Absolutely. Yep.
This season's been nuts. But just to touch on to move forward, we want to touch on this CFP. This is what I've got, and I didn't make a caption for it because I knew we were going to talk about it. So we got Georgia, Bama, Oregon, Ohio State. We know Oregon's out. We said Oregon's probably going to fall down to
7, 8, 9-ish.
Probably going to fall down to. You figure we said Ohio State was going to leapfrog Bama. So right now, and we're both in agreement on that. So I'm going Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, Cincinnati 4, with Michigan at 5, with Notre Dame at 6, Oklahoma State at 7, Baylor at 8, Ole Miss at 9, Oklahoma at 10. And somewhere in there is where you're going to start seeing Oregon and Wake Forest, because Wake Forest is at 10 right now. Oregon's at 3. And the committee's not going to give Oregon a shot at getting back anywhere remotely close.
No,
Wake Forest is not going to be remotely close. BYU, Wisconsin is probably going to leapfrog BYU. Wisconsin may well leapfrog Oklahoma. I'm just going to call it. Oklahoma's going to probably be in a holding. I mean, no, I don't know if I go that far, but BYU and Oklahoma are probably going to be in a hold pattern. I think everybody else on the back end won, except for Arkansas won. Arkansas is not going to fall out. Arkansas is going to drop down. The Houston's going to bump up, and Arkansas is going to fall down. So that's what I got for the top 25. So yeah, that's about where that is.
That's what I got. I agree with you there. Yep. She'll be interested to see what happens this weekend, though. That's
sure. Most definitely. It's going to be lots of rivalry games, lots of games to be determined. We're not going to have a whole heck of a lot more to talk SEC at this point since the championship has been determined. We'll talk about maybe some games of note, but next week is going to be all about. We're going to be coming hard and heavy at you with the playoff contenders, with the folks that are in the CFP, with the folks that still have a chance of getting the CFP. We'll definitely talk about these 4 games here: Michigan versus OSU, Oregon versus Oregon State, OU versus Oklahoma State, Buffalo. Oh my God. Wake Forest. WF does not spell Buffalo, but the way I wrote the WF, it looks like a B. So wow, Buffalo's going to play Boston College and they might get in. That's great. Wake Forest versus Boston College. We'll definitely keep an eye on Georgia versus Georgia Tech, Bama versus Auburn.
Oh yeah,
we're definitely talking about that. We'll come back around to that for sure. Those of you that have been watching, I haven't said this all show. Those of you that have been hanging with us, thank you for hanging. Shout out to our guy Sean Spencer, who's been pinging us with some good ones, with some zingers from the comment section. We appreciate you, bro. We'll probably hop on and throw some comments on Let's Talk Football, even though I think you already taped yours. So there's that. I can't get away from here without mentioning that we do have the sweepstakes. The sweepstakes is a real thing, y'all. We did go ahead and put it out. The video's out. For those of you that are wondering, you do have an opportunity to win at least a minimum of $100. But here's how you do it. You have to go to the Patreon page, and I got it right this week. It doesn't say Padawan. Patreon, yeah, patreon.com/Zagner Productions. Right now, we got 3 packages. We got a $5 package, a $15 package, a $50 package. Now, those of you that went, oh my God, Clutch the Pearls, he's charging $50. No, you don't. If you don't have, look, that ain't for you. If you can't afford $50 a month, then don't pay $50 a month. But if you got $5, everybody donks off $5 a month, and it's just for an opportunity to get into the sweepstakes. Now, mind you, it's a monthly patronship of the show. So those monies will go towards things like giveaways, and so we can do things like giveaway merchandise. The $5 package actually will get you this very cool, and I actually happen to have it handy right here. Will get you this very, very cool Zagnif apparel t-shirt right here. And that will get you 5 guesses. 5 guesses. And what this is for is the national championship game. Right now, we don't know who's going to be in the game. So we're not taking, if you want to go ahead and be a patron right now, because you like what we're doing, we greatly appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you. That helps to do things like pay for the subscription fees for us to host the streaming, to pay for the fees for pay for the website, to run the radio station, things of that nature, and also for great giveaways. So we also have a $15 package. A $15 package will also get a merchandise package. You'll get a t-shirt, and we'll probably throw some more swag in there, some Zagnif apparel swag, some This Week in SEC swag also. Trust me, we got mugs. We got we got coffee mugs. We got the silver mugs with the image on it, the tumblers with the image on it. We got tote bags. I think starting December 1st, we'll actually be able to have iPhone 13 cases.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you got iPhone 12, 13, you can get a case with the This Week in SEC logo on it, or a Zagnif apparel logo, whatever you want on it. So there's that. The $15 package, you will get 10 guesses. The $50 package will get you 20 guesses. And not only if you sign up for the $50 package and remain a Patreon patron, you will also get these very nifty pair of Zagnif apparel sneakers. We call them the Zagnif zips. Why? Because they got that nifty zipper around the bottom. And there it is, the Pippi. You got that right there. And then on the spine, it says, "Dressed like you're already famous." That is the Zagnif apparel motto. So if you sign up as a $50 patron, we have no problem sending you a wonderful pair of these shoes here. We're also going to add a $25 package a little bit later on in the week. That one will get you 15 guesses. Now, here's what you're guessing. Once it is all the dust is cleared from the playoffs and the 2 teams that are going to the championship have been determined, you need to tell us, just like this Michigan-Ohio State game this week, who's going to win and what the score is going to be. And whoever gets that right, along with the score without going over, will win a minimum of $100. Now, here's the kicker. The more patrons we have, the bigger the prize pot will get. If the prize pot gets big enough, we can branch off and we can even get into the 2 playoff games and give away a couple of dollars there, or maybe some gift cards or something like that. But right now, we're just doing t-shirts because that's what our broke asses can afford to give away right now. So if you guys, if you don't think it's robbery and you got $5 to donk off a month, zip on over to patreon.com, Zagnif Productions. Now, what that also gets you is if you sign up for the $15 package, call in and say you got a birthday coming up or something like that. You want a birthday shout out, or we'll just give you a shout. We'll shout you out right here on the show. We'll put your name on the crawl going across the lower third, or we'll give you a shout out or something like that. For the $50 package, we got another whole nother set of shout outs to issue. We might even, I was thinking about us maybe doing some cameo style stuff for the $50 shout outs. Like if you're paying us $50 a month on the Patreon, we would greatly appreciate it. and we might do something like your birthday rolls around and you want to shout out from the crew here at This Week in SEC Football. We got you covered. So we're going to have some things, but right now what we're doing is we're trying to get our patronage up so we can start doing things like having neat little giveaways and gift card giveaways and stuff like that. So keep your hip on that. We'll and again, like we said, we don't know who's going to the playoffs yet in the championship, but if you don't have a problem stopping by and becoming a patron, we'd appreciate you greatly. And that's about all I got for this week, man. I don't know if you got anything for this week, but to close us out with, my word for this week is I do appreciate you guys very much. Those of you that have reached out and said that we're doing great things, and I sincerely appreciate it. I'm going to say it as many times as I can possibly say it. You might get tired of hearing it, but I'm not going to stop saying it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for dropping us a comment. Thank you for recommending our show to somebody. We appreciate that, because for every 10 people you tell, we might get one person, and it's kind of an exponential thing. It's one of those charts. I don't know what they call it, but you see it a lot of times in multi-level marketing companies where you get the thing where you're here and you get these two people and they get those two people. So it's like the commercial. You tell a friend and they tell a friend and they tell a friend, and so on and so on and so on. So we appreciate you for keeping us uplifted. Bruh, it was good to see your parent. It was good to meet your parents today. I'm hoping to get an opportunity to sit down and actually break bread with them sometime soon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it was awesome. They're here, like I said, they're up here visiting all week for Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. But yeah, that's definitely in the works. Like I said, we have family out in Edmond, and as soon as we get out that way, most definitely we'll hit up with you and or hit up you and the missus, and at least go have dinner, or at least sit around and chop it up a little bit. But go along with what you were saying before.
Question. Real quick question. What are y'all having for Thanksgiving dinner? Y'all having the big traditional meal, or?
No, to be honest with you, I'm going to surprise you. So, my mother was born in Germany, right? So I have German, on the German side. We're having actually rouladen. We're having rouladen for Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we have a little bit of rouladen, maybe a little canardel, maybe some kind of German food. So that's what we started doing. We've been doing that for a couple of years now.
Okay. Well, don't forget your comment to get you.
Exactly. Hey, don't think I ain't missing the cut, the mustard greens and all that good stuff too, man.
Oh, God, bro. God, yeah. But you were going to say to follow up on something. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm talking about what you were talking about, appreciating everybody, and I appreciate you for bringing me on, you and Sean, especially. Thank you so much for involving me in this. I'm having a blast. I just want to let you know that I really do appreciate it, and thanks a lot.
Dude, I almost feel like Vern Lundquist and Keith Jackson in the booth. Well, we're not doing play-by-play and color commentary, but it's almost like I feel a little bit like, oh man, this is what like who Reggie Bush and I don't want to call you Kirk Herbstreit because
no, he hates Georgia. You don't call me Herbstreit.
He hates Georgia, and he's Ohio State homer to the core.
Absolutely.
He's loving this season to death right now because there's a good possibility that Georgia and Ohio State might face off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't call me him. Anything but him.
Yeah, well, hey, bro, I appreciate you, man, for coming and being a part of this. We appreciate you guys for watching. On behalf of myself, Mr. Fingers, here from Zagnip Central, my homie, my brother from another, Colin P. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We will see you on Thursday. So y'all come check us out then. In the meantime, y'all be good. Be safe, and
Did you say utes?
Yeah, 2 utes.
What is a ute?
Well, for good measure, right? Gotta take
one for the road. We'll see y'all on Thursday. Take care, y'all.
Man, that couldn't be any better. I love that clip. That's so funny.
Dude, we're gonna have to find some